didn't know Hermien Pretorius in 2009 when I received a phone call from her. She was interested in buying the ladies' boutique I owned at the time. We met and the puzzle pieces came together as I was embarking on doing an MBA and she wanted to move out of the corporate environment. Hermien, this is a long time overdue meetup and so amazing to have you today. We indeed have a lot to share with our viewers. Welcome to the Strategy Maker Podcast.
Oh, thank you, Johnny. You're actually making me teary. Okay, before I carry on, please excuse my 3 kids. They're very inquisitive. I've got 3 spaniels. They like kids in the home. We've tried to set up this whole meeting at a place where they feel comfortable and won't feel out of place, but obviously there's somebody running up and down in the street, so I'm going to try to keep them the noise levels down, but such is life. Yes, Johnny, like I said, it actually made me teary. Firstly, to see you again, because you were this like sunshine that just came into a very dark time in my life. And you just gave me the opportunity, and I'd be forever thankful for you for giving me the chance to take over your shop and changing it into my life dream. So yes, thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
You know what, I didn't realize the impact, obviously, but all I can say is the timing was perfect for both of us. And I kept an eye on you developing this business, and therefore I just have to introduce you to my viewers. So let's dive in and tell us a little bit about your background. What have you done before the boutique?
Wow, Johnny, I grew up in Durban, regte Afrikaanse dogtertjie met redelike streng ouers. My dad was the rector of the Durban Training College. So I actually grew up in a very strict omgewing. But yes, then I was born and grew up in Durban, and then I came to Bloemfontien the first time in my life to study here. I got a bursary to study in Bloem. Thanks to my dad that got a bursary for me to study in Bloemfontein. They say you cry twice. Obviously now with this podcast, I realized 3 times. But they say you cry twice when you're in Bloem. Once when you get there because you don't want to be here. It's so not Durban. And then secondly, when you have to leave. And that's very true. This place has got the ability to creep into your heart, and the people here are just so amazing, and I made amazing friends. So I've been here now for what is this now, 30 years, 32 years on the dot actually, with a little bit of things in between. Went to Cape Town for modeling with Topco. And then my husband, my boyfriend at that time, came to Cape Town and said he's packing my bags. We're getting married because I'm starting to enjoy it too much in Cape Town. So yes, ever since I've been in Bloem, I taught for 2 years. That's something that people don't know. I taught high school Afrikaans for 2 years because of the bursary that I had.
Okay, so you studied teaching, education.
I studied BA Communication with art.
Okay.
For graphic designing. That was my love. But I studied with a teaching bursary.
Okay.
So I had to talk for the first 2 years just to work back your bursary. And then I became a medical rep. That was absolutely amazing. I loved every bit of it. I was a rep for 4 years, and then I became the area manager for the company in Free State and Northern Cape. And there I was in corporate as a manager for 11 years, where I learned a lot about the corporate world. And the one thing that I think I'd always be grateful for that part of my life was managing people, getting a feel of business, getting business savvy, and actually to see the world, because that's actually where the whole dream start to take place, or start to have a place in the back of my head and start dreaming about this little secret that I'm keeping inside of me. Yeah, so that's me in a nutshell, or the past. Yeah.
So I can still remember where I was when I received your phone call. And the coincidence was I was also a medical rep. I was actually moving into the corporate space when we decided to obviously discuss the business. And so we had a lot in common, but we were in different phases of our life, in different spaces. And I wanted to pursue the MBA, but I realized there was just no time for having a business, a full-time job, as well as doing the studies. And you were obviously ready to embark. So tell me about that little secret that was brewing in your mind. What was that all about, and why?
You know what? I think it started with my mom's walk-in closet. As a little girl, I'd love, and I'm going to get teary again because I miss her so much. She passed away 6 years ago. Sure. It brings so much memories back. Okay, let's think. Yes, I loved her clothes. I loved dressing up in her clothes, walking around in high heels, falling off. And then, I've always loved clothes. I've always loved fashion. It was a big part of myself. I actually wanted to pursue studying into that, but unfortunately, circumstances and what. So I had to go and study the BA grade or the degree, and then do the HOD, because that's the only way in which I would have been able to get an education. So my dad said, either that or you can work at the OK. So I decided, okay, I'll go study. But this thing was always in the back of my head. And as I mentioned previously, with all my trips that was so privileged to go on with the pharmaceutical company overseas, we usually went to the East. And I saw these markets, and I saw all these funky high fashion clothes that we don't necessarily get in Bloemfontien. And this whole thing started to work in the back of my head. And then when I just decided that I had enough of corporates, and I think it's time, I think at that stage I was 37, and I realized that either I do this now while I can still appreciate funky young fashion, and not walk around with my walking stick in the middle of Bangkok sourcing fashion. I just took the leap, and I just had faith. And the problem was the ideal spot. We went through the whole of Bloemfontein. We went to, there's this awesome little strip in Bloemfontein called 2nd Avenue. We went to have a look at a house there. We went to numerous places. And then one day I just stopped in front of your shop on my way to Woolies. And I sat there. Your shop was called The White Room. Very cute, beautiful little shop. And I sat in front of your shop in my car, and I could just see angels. I just saw my board, And I just saw this whole vision that I was dreaming about for so many years. So I actually then walked into your shop. There was this awesome black lady that worked for you. And I started chatting to her, and I said, who's the owner? And if I remember correctly, I think your son was there as well. He was working on a computer.
Might be, yes.
In your shop. And I said, do you know if there's a chance that she wants to sell this place by any chance? And he gave me your telephone number. And that's when I went home and I phoned my husband and I said, listen, I just quickly want to go show you a spot. And we went and he said, this is perfect. And then we phoned you. And that's how it all
came together.
It all told, yeah.
And indeed, it is a very good spot in a busy center in Danpienaar. And I think ever since I've left Bloemfontein 6 years ago. I think that area has developed so beautifully. It's upmarket. It is well developed and well placed for retail. But now we must share with the viewers that we actually had a lot of fun for you taking over the shop. And I want you to tell the story what we did.
Which one? There's so many. Which one?
the one going, showing you Bangkok and exploring.
Okay. Oh, that one. Okay. The one later on. Okay, cool. So, obviously, like I said, we with my trips, I saw these markets, but I didn't know how it works. How does import work, and how am I going to get this thing in all this fashion and stock in a suitcase? How many suitcases am I going to need? And I'm so scared to ask all these questions. And then Barry, my husband, said to me, so why don't we put an offer in our contract, in our buying contract, that we want to buy this from you, but we also want to buy your expertise, because you've been overseas with the lady that taught you how to do it, the lady where you bought the shop from.
Yeah.
Am I correct? Yes.
That's right, yes.
We've written this whole clause into the contract and said, I was so scared that you'd said no. But so we sat at a coffee shop right across from the shop, and we went through the contract. Sorry about the dogs. And I said, I want you to take me to Bangkok and show me how it's done. And you said, sure, when are we leaving? And so we went over and we stayed in the hotel that I booked for us. And you said, when I said to you which hotel it is, you said, oh, that's perfect. That's where we usually stay. So that was also a coincidence. So I remember packing my suitcase, huge suitcase, and I had all these beautiful outfits because I'm going overseas and I'm going on a buying trip. So I've got my heels, I've got denims, I've got funky little tops. I'm going to shop for my new shop. So we got there, and I saw you watching my suitcase as I opened it, and I gave a smile. You didn't say anything. And it's so hot there that I just pulled out the first shorts and flip-flops, and there we went. And needless to say, I didn't touch that suitcase of mine that whole trip. I went to go and buy more denim shorts and t-shirts to work in. It's just totally different than what I imagined a buying trip would be. So yes, we bought, and then when we got to the hotel at night, I thought, okay, cool. So now we're going to have a glass of wine and going for supper. And you said, no, now we start labeling, because when your stock gets to Bloemfontein, you actually already want it to be processed, labeled as far as possible. So I thought, okay, so how does this work? And you taught me the whole process of adding your import tax, adding your cargo fee, adding your VAT, and then get to the price, and then from there on, that's exactly how I've done it. I've tweaked it a bit, made it a bit easier. I've written with the help of a friend of mine, written an Excel spreadsheet where you just put in your bought price, and it shoots out an estimated or recommended selling price. But yeah, that's all because of you. That taught me all the steps. And then, oh yes, then the last thing, or not the last thing, but the most important thing is, so I said to you, okay, so how are we going to get all this stuff back in Bloem? There's no, you need an agent. You need to work with a cargo company. I said, what is a cargo company? And I remember you taking me to the cargo company and trying to explain to me how this worked. And I looked at you with these big eyes. I remember the first amount that they gave me was like, what? I'll never be able to pay for this, because I didn't realize it was in baht and not in rand. So yes, it was so scary. And I'm so glad that you were there with me just to calm me down, and gave me options, and helped me so much. So yes, like I said, I'll be forever thankful for you for that part, and accepting that clause in our contract.
Well, I'm a keen traveler, so I would never say no to the opportunity to go overseas, or even if we need to go and work. But it is, for our viewers, we must fill them in that it is tricky to import, obviously, because on that side you export, and on this side you import. In every time there's taxes to be paid, obviously that has an implication on your selling price in the long run, and you must be able to make a profit. As well as when I started importing from Thailand, the baht was something between 7 to 10 to the rand, which was so made it so financially viable. But then the rand deteriorated against the baht, and then all along you had to be very careful about what you buy and obviously bring back. The other side is that they've got a lot of rules and regulations when you import on this side. For instance, you're not allowed to bring in plastic bags or branded clothing and all of that. And we kept by the rules. We kept kept to the rules, because when the cargo arrives in South Africa, normally for me, and you can tell me how it's going now, it took me about 4 days, then it was in my shop, and then I could unpack and started shelving and displaying and all of that and selling, because you obviously want. Is it not like that anymore?
No, not at all. Firstly, the last time I was privileged enough to travel overseas was that February 2 years ago, just before lockdown. So I actually flew into the virus, quite scared, but I had to.
Wow.
So I flew into the virus. I came back on the 26th of February. So just a month later, on that same date, lockdown started. The rand baht was 1.5.
What?
To a rand. Now that is super sad. I mean, I remember the first time I went with you, it was 4.9-ish. Yeah, so it deteriorated to 1.9, and then 1.6 the last time I was there. So coming back to customs, they really got on the ball a lot. it really takes up to a month to receive your stock.
Wow.
They obviously need to check everything. If sometimes they do, they cut your bags open from the top to the bottom. And you know how much those bags cost that you buy those big bags. I mean, that's like nearly 500 Rand that they just cut open from top to bottom. Just pull out a few things, check if whatever you say is on the inventory is in the bag, and then they just strap it closed with SARS stickers. And you need to also pay a fee for them for keeping your bags safe.
Yeah.
So that's on top of your import tax. Your import tax is 45% on everything you buy. Jewelry is 20%. Underwear is between 20-25%.
Yeah.
So every single thing that you buy, you need to write up on an inventory, and you have to say, okay, so I bought 20 t-shirts that's made out of 90% cotton, 10% polyester, and you bought it at this bought price.
Okay.
So imagine if you go over with, say, for instance, 100,000 Rand, and you buy 500 kilograms full of stock. You have to process every single thing, and that I didn't know. That you taught me. So, and I'm glad you taught me the right way, because there's so many people that lost their import license because of taking the wrong route. Doing things the easy way, or not the totally honest, correct way. So yes, and if you lose your import license, it's super difficult to get it again. Obviously, your ID number, everything is on it. So it's really better just to do it the right way. Even if it takes you up to 2 o'clock in the morning, sitting there in your hotel room, doing it the right way. So yeah.
Yeah, we did burn the midnight oil, but obviously we had our glass of wine to keep us afloat, and we had lots of fun. And well, the whole flow of the day in Bangkok is different. So the markets open at 10. You can work late and then really have a sleep in up until 9, go down for your breakfast, and then start shopping. And
not anymore.
Not anymore. Oh, so what has changed?
Okay, so there's this thing called morning market, where that starts at 4 o'clock in the morning, 3-4 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
So it's also in the street. And that's where their little shops go and buy their stock. So it's better than to get up at 4 in the morning and go down, shop, take your stock back, and then go for breakfast. And then after breakfast, when you get down in the street, those markets are gone. They're gone. Then it's like a street. Everybody is driving, and how people drive in Bangkok. And then afterwards, when you return after a full day of shopping, then the night market starts, which works exactly on the same way as the morning markets. It's just more touristy, so there's more toys and things, and obviously a bit more expensive because of the fact that tourists go there. There's also a lot of other markets that opened since myself and you were there. What I've done is, every time since you took me, I decided every time I go, and I went 4 times a year, I need to explore a new area. So there's certain places that you took me that I don't go to anymore, because it totally involved, it became bigger and better at other places. So yeah, it's you won't recognize it. Remember,
Wow.
in front of our hotel, there were that big open area where they had this market during the day.
Yeah, yeah.
It's gone. There's a parking lot.
Oh
It's
no.
gone. There's a parking lot. Now, some of those places or those little shops that we went to, I mean, they were like they were like my staple. I always
Yeah.
had to go and buy there. Now to go and look for them again, I mean, you can't go and say where can I buy this?
Yeah, no, that's true. It's like a needle in a haystack. You won't find them.
It is, yes. And that's what I'm worried about. Maybe I'm jumping the gun, but going back there now, maybe most of those places are gone.
Yeah, even more change after the pandemic. I mean,
yes.
yeah, those small vendors, I feel so sorry for them.
Yeah.
I can just imagine what has happened during this time. But what also kept me going there, traveling out, well, I was also traveling by myself for quite a while, is this that you're really safe. You can literally go out at 4. You as a woman can be around, be safe. The other thing was how that the culture of the Thai people are of a servant mentality. They want to serve you all the time. And maybe I can quickly share my little story of I was buying from a vendor lots of handbags, lots and lots. I literally, they give you a chair and you sit down, and then they start serving you with lychee juice and water, keep you cool. And then I start shopping, and all of obviously it grew and grew. That bag just got bigger and bigger. And I noticed she was fiddling in her little drawer here. And I thought, what was going on here? And she had a dictionary there, an English translation. And she thanked me for my business in English.
Oh,
And that to
sweet,
me
eh?
was so, she had me for life. I went back there and her handbags was just amazing. But then they pack it for you and you give your room number in your hotel. And then they've got this little carriers that with trolleys that take it over. Once you get back to your hotel, you check your bags and then you take it up to your room and then you start with your whole administrative process. So that to me was, you can actually do it all alone. You're safe and you can work hard and you will have a positive outcome for your business. What amazing memories. But then you also embarked in going to Hong Kong and India. Have you explored India's markets yet?
I haven't explored India. I've been to Hong Kong. I've been to Guangzhou. I've been to Kuala Lumpur, beautiful stuff in Kuala Lumpur, and Singapore.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it all depends on which season I was buying for, but yeah, very very interesting. Totally different ball game than Thailand. Just to get back to what you said. Sorry, I'm hopping around, but the fact that what you said, that they are so kind and trustworthy. Just to give you an idea, I was there with a trip, and I bought a lot of stock at this one vendor. Went That was the last day of that trip, and packed everything, got my inventory together, flew back to South Africa, unpacked everything here, carried on. 3 months later, I landed in Thailand, or in Bangkok again for my next trip. Got to the hotel from the airport, got into my denim shorts and flip-flops, my little bookie and my money, and I went into the market, start shopping. And that next morning, I got a phone call from reception that said that there's somebody that wants to speak to me. So I said, okay, I'll be there in a moment. Just give me time. So I went down to reception, and there was this short little Thai girl with a big smile like this, and she came to me with a letter. And sorry, there goes Dad. So
she came to give you what?
She had this big smile, and she gave me the letter.
Okay.
And she said, I must read the letter. And in this letter, I opened it up, and it said, we're so sorry, but it came to our attention that the last time you were here, we didn't give you the right amount of change. And we're so sorry. And we hope that you would keep on buying from us. And there were 250 baht in the envelope. I mean, at that stage, it was like 50 Rand, 60 Rand. So just to give you an idea of how honest they were.
Yeah.
So she said to me that she saw me walking in the market, and she went back to her boss and said, that's the lady that we didn't give the right amount of change. And I mean, I promise you, this really happens quite a lot. But that was the first time when I was like, like you said, I'll always go back to that.
Sure. So they are so diligent with their invoicing as well. So normally I buy, I pay, and then they start packing, and I move on to the next shop.
Yes.
When you receive your stuff in the hotel, it is exactly what's in the bag, what you've paid. They hardly ever make a mistake. It is so amazing to see this diligent approach to, and like you say, honesty, trustworthiness.
Very honest, yes.
Amazing culture to experience on all levels, obviously, and therefore we will go back, and hopefully one day before I have the walking stick, I also need to go. They say, you better tell me, maybe I can join you.
Yes, for sure.
But now I want us to move on and to focus on Angel's Boutique, the venture that you've started. Tell us, or tell me, and I wasn't a part of this at all. I actually showed you the places, but I hang back to see what your approach will be and what you want to do, because it was important for you to develop, obviously, your own business. How have you decided on what market you want to enter? Age-wise, how have you decided on that?
Johnny, when I opened Angel, there was a huge gap in fashion in Bloemfontein. There weren't a lot of small little boutiques with unique, funky wear. It was your chain stores, it was your Truis's and your big YDEs and stuff like that. And then the other boutiques that were there were, and they're still were your labels, like your more expensive label wear, like your Polo, your Pringles, and that wasn't my style. I wanted unique pieces, things that you won't find in a chain store or in a high-end boutique. My whole mission was affordable, unique, young fashion, because of the fact that there were nothing like that, or very little of that in Bloemfontein. And in Durban, where I came from, there were quite a few. So when you go to a dance at school, if you buy there, nobody else would have it on. Where if you buy, say, for instance, at Truers or YDE, the chance of somebody picturing with exactly the same outfit is quite good. So that was my vision, and it's actually still my vision. I want to offer affordable, unique, I'd say high-end fashion to a broad base of people. Obviously, I started targeting the younger girls with ball gowns, cocktail wear for school balls and stuff like that. That was one of the plus points about the area that our shop was, because it's in between 3 schools. The girls came from Res and they just walked over. They didn't have their parents to have to take them to the boutique or to a shopping center, or wait for a taxi or whatever. It's easy for them just to walk across the street. So I was at the perfect spot for what I envisioned. My clientele being 16 to, I'd say, 50, I'd say at that point. Now I'm turning 15. I'm trying to push the whole curve of clientele a bit further. So that's the main reason why I decided on that specific area that I wanted to target. Market.
And of course, it paid off big time, because it's now how many years since?
13 years.
13 years since. And obviously, you've expanded your footprint. How many branches do you have?
Johnny, I opened the second one, the second Angels Boutique, in a mall about 5 kilometers away from the mother shop. It was so exciting just to see a new Angels trying to service another part of Bloemfontein. It went very well. It was great fun, and obviously now suddenly I have to import for 2 shops, and that's difficult. How to divide the stock, and that's a whole episode on its own. But then 3 years after I opened Angels, the second Angels, there was a fire in that centrum, a massive fire that made quite a few ructions. A lot of places couldn't, small little businesses couldn't keep their doors open because of the fact that the people didn't want to go and visit the centrum that often. We had to close for a week or 2 because of the smell and just get everything sorted. So when we opened again, it says internet connection unstable.
Ja, ek gaan hierdie stukkie uitsny. So kom ons begin net weer. Ja, ons is nou beter. So kom ons begin net weer. Nee, jy freeze op my skerm. So kom ons wag net gou. Daar's jy reg.
Okay.
So ons is nou by kom ons begin by and I have to decide to whatever. It's just that.
So I had to decide to after the fire and things didn't get back to like we used to. My rent came up, so it actually just pulled in perfectly. That we decided not to take of rent in this mall, and then COVID happened with that decision to close down my second Angels and just move everything back to the original mother shop, because I mean, in COVID, I just can't see myself being able to finance two shops in that specific time. You know, yes, obviously we had help from UIF. At that point, I had 9 girls working for me.
Wow.
And it was just heartbreaking to see what COVID did to so many awesome, unique little shops. And so I'd say I was blessed to be forced or to take that decision to close down the second Angels. I don't look back at all. Then, part of the footprint, I decided in lockdown to write my own website.
Okay, ons is nou weer besig om bietjie te
anything about computers. I had to.
Ons het 'n laggie daar. Vertel gou van jou website.
Moet ek begin?
Ja.
Okay. So in lockdown, I decided to, I have to do something else. I have to get my stock to more people, because obviously in lockdown and after lockdown, you know, people are scared going to shopping centers. They don't want to drive around. They're comfortable at home. They settled with their Zoom meetings and team meetings. And obviously, online shopping boomed at that stage, and it still is. So I had to do something, but I don't have 20,000 bucks to get somebody to write, to, you know, set up a website for me. So I took Shopify 101 lessons right through. And I built my own website, and that's the one thing that I'm super excited and so chuffed with myself, because that's really one thing that I never ever thought I'd be able to do. So yeah, that's my second part of my footprint, and it's actually doing good. I remember I was sitting in Angels in the shop, and I just launched my website. Physically just launched it 5 minutes ago, and ka-ching, here comes the first order. Wow. And I thought, how the hell did this happen? I mean, this is freaking impossible. And it's not somebody in Bloem, it's somebody in Cape Town ordering a pair of earrings. And I thought, yes, how did she know
magic.
that I could have, yeah. And I was like shaking, and there was a client in front of me, and I said, I can't talk now. I've got an order, and I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do this. So yes, luckily before the website, since the beginning of Angels, we started our Angels Facebook page, and we started, which is connected to their Instagram page. And we're very active. We upload 3 photos every single morning. Before I can open my eyes, I'm busy, you know, downloading that onto Angels' page. And I had a lot of followers, and because of the fact that Shopify pulled through onto Facebook and Instagram, and that I didn't realize at that time. I started a website. I didn't know it's all connected. If you do it correctly, according to their tutorials 101, which I did right through. So that's obviously where this chick in Cape Town saw my beautiful earrings and bought it from. So yes, every single day, new things, new challenges, you know, but it keeps us young, and it keeps us on our toes, and that's the only way to evolve in this uncertain time, where so many people is struggling, and so many businesses are really struggling.
Yeah, so I think you diversified absolutely at the right time going online, because you can't ignore the online shopping space
No, you
at
can't.
all
No,
anymore.
you can't.
It makes the world obviously smaller, but it
Yes,
also makes competition a little bit stronger. So if people doesn't walk into your retail store anymore, at least you have an online presence. And like I said, it just elevates your business into a new space where you can even maybe, market to people in Australia or in the US or wherever, in
yeah,
Brasilia, for that matter, they can pick you up. But I think South Africans are really getting on board with online shopping and having couriers delivered to
definitely,
the to their gates, and
definitely.
that actually evolves so quickly. So you did the right thing there, but how big is your team currently, your physical team?
We are three. It's myself. I try to be in the shop every day. And
Okay.
then I've got Lizon. She's my manager. She's also been with me now for 6 years. And she's pregnant, this fall pregnant. She's going on maternity leave, so I'm going to be stuck on my own. And then I've got a student that works over weekends and help every now and then when Lizon is on leave or Black Friday, or when we just need more help in the shop. So we're just three at this stage, which is
And yeah,
comfortable.
yeah, it is. It's a nice and streamlined staff complement. But do you have a social media marketing company or a website, a webmaster who support you with that side,
No, no, I
or
do
all by
everything on my own.
yourself?
Yes, so no, I do all our ads um, on the social media side,
Mm.
and then I run the website myself. It's actually it sounds it sounded daunting to me, and I suppose to people that doesn't know Shopify, it still sounds daunting, but Shopify is really so easy to use.
It is.
It's really really easy. I I can't imagine doing it any other way.
I think you can get away there with the 101 lessons.
Yeah.
There are other
Yeah.
platforms that's way more complicated. So I think you did the right thing there as well. But then, obviously, because of COVID, your import was affected. Have you had enough stock, and what's the planning there?
Okay, so like I said, I flew into the virus the month before lockdown. Um, so I had stock, but I didn't necessarily have the right season stock.
Yeah.
So we also had a lot of stock left, and then stock that had to come over from Mimosa Mall that we closed down, the Second Angels. So I had stock. But when we were allowed to open again, it was only with the winter close permit. So that really that really took a lot of initiative um, to sell a short sleeve T-shirt that's displayed underneath a very light cardigan, because that you were allowed to do. You're displaying, but I wasn't allowed to sell any jewelry. I wasn't allowed to sell any belts, any handbags. I was only, sorry, allowed to sell winter clothes. And like I am, I didn't want to take chances, because I mean, they
Yeah.
were walking up and down, seeing, who's doing what. Are we selling the correct things? Are we doing everything by the book and by law? So yes, that was a hell of a struggle. And then when we went into the next level, I think it was level 3, when we could start selling whatever we wanted to. So then at last I could unpack all these beautiful clothes that I bought 3 months ago. And yeah, that also lasted up until about I'd say October, November-ish of last year. And I was really struggling to find new ways of importing. Obviously, in Bangkok, they don't work with websites or anything. I mean, it just doesn't exist. It's totally not their way of doing business. So I really did struggle. I can speak a bit of Thai, but I'm very, very bad in Mandarin. I can't do Mandarin at all. And you're scared and you're confused and you're totally out of your comfort zone. And you still want to be unique. So yes, there's places in South Africa where you can buy stock from, but so are all the other places. But all the other businesses.
It's very limited, and now everybody goes there. So
and that's just not. I just couldn't do it. So I really explored websites that works with wholesale. There's one called Made in China, and the other one is Alibaba. So I started to explore this, but you're so bloody scared because you pay all this money into an account, and you don't know if you're going to get your stock. You don't know if it's going to look like the photo does that you're buying from. So that was the worst time. Going through that. But still, once again, it's a learning curve, and you just have to persist. It's either that or you close down your shop. So you need to start pushing your fingers into all the little holes just to make sure that or just to experience what it is all about. And I remember the first time when I ordered stuff. Firstly, what I did is I mailed 2-3 boutiques in Durban that I follow on Instagram. And I said to them, firstly, I just want to say I love your shop, and I explained where I'm from Bloemfontien. And I just want to know, I've seen fashion on your Instagram account that I've also seen, say for instance, on Alibaba's wholesale website. I just want to know, are they legit? Can I order from them? And then they just said to me, no, they don't use Alibaba. They've got agents in China that helps them sourcing stock. And I thought to myself, oh damn! So I've missed out on this because I don't know. I don't have an agent there. And I just took a leap of faith and ordered one item in full size breakdown. But I've chosen the one that I'd really think if they can get this right, it was this cute little sequins camisole. And I ordered one of each size, and I just prayed. And it actually came after 3 or 4 weeks. It came, and when I opened it, it was exactly what I saw on the picture. So that's how I decided to, start moving away from in my back of my head, thinking the whole time negative. When am I be able to go back to Bangkok, and just blocking that out, and just try new avenues. Start little, and then gain more confidence, and then like the first day that I got to Bangkok, and every single time I tried a new little place. Burn your fingers here. Get excited there. So but I'd love to go back because I want to touch, I want to feel, I want to see exactly what I'm buying. I did buy a few boo-boos now already, although I've also now gained an agent there. So it's still from photos, and some of the stuff that pictures in angels in Bloemfontein is totally not what I've seen on the photo of what I've ordered from. But luckily, they've got a client service. We then send them pictures and say, this is not what I've ordered, and then you get your payback in like your account.
Yeah. What's the time delay now to import like that through an agent or through an online setup?
Time delay depends on availability. So you either seek in that website ready to order, which is clothes that's already done and made and they've got stock of it, or where they still have to make your specific garment,
Okay.
t-shirt, whatever. So it's all in all, best case scenario, I'd say 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
I thought about 6 weeks or even 2 months.
Yeah, it can happen, worst case scenario. But from their side, it's really quick. You order, and then it gets whatever you order, obviously from different manufacturers, then gets delivered to their warehouse,
Mm-hmm.
and then they send everything then in a cargo through to you. It's always when it gets back to South Africa where there's a bit of a time delay.
Yeah. So I'm curious about your brand. How was that part of the picture you had in your mind when you start this off? Where does Angels come from, and the specific brand, the logo?
Oh, you want me to try? You want me to
I'm diving into all the emotional stuff today. It seems.
So, okay, Angels. Angel was like my nickname when I was little. The maid that worked for us, the lady that helped us in our house when I grew up, she called me Angel. So that's how the name Angel came from. And obviously Barry also, my husband, also started after the first time that he came to visit us in Durban when we were still at varsity. He then also catched up on this whole angel thing, and we become angels to each other. We call each other Angel or Love or whatever. So yeah, I just thought that from my childhood days, I think that would be the perfect name. And the whole logo, I've got a very, how can I say, punky side to me. I love tattoos. I only got 2. My dad didn't know. And I suppose now he's going to know after seeing this podcast. Sorry, Dad. But it says Angel, the tattoo. So I'd like that whole heart with the wing theme with the angels written all over it. Yeah, so that was just something that I've always loved. I love that pop art, punky look.
Yeah. I think it suits you fine. It kind of portrays your approach to fashion, and then obviously it pulls through in what you're selling in the shop. So apart from obviously having an online shop, how do you market your business?
Only through social media. The only other place that also it wasn't planned. It happened totally out of the blue, and I think it's because of the fact that my clothes were young and unique and different at that stage. Is a lot of schools started asking me to sponsor their like pageants, little baby, pageants, school pageants and stuff. Because of the fact that obviously the girls shopped at Angels and they saw the potential. So it wasn't something that I did. It was luckily something that came to me with Miss Free State as well. I mean, I was exposed to a lot more people that obviously didn't know about Angels or ever been there before. That also brought in, awesome customers. We also did, pre-COVID, we did fashion shows with Women Days and stuff like that we obviously don't do anymore. But yes, Bloem is luckily small enough that hopefully everybody knows about Angels by now. But yeah, I think it's easier in a smaller place than Joburg or Cape Town. So yeah, I'm quite privileged to be boosted or helped by the schools and their loyalty towards Angels, and then obviously Miss Free State with Andri and Yolandi that really helps me a lot with that, and just to bring out Angels to people that don't know about it.
So it was more or less a sponsorship that you did, or was it just a presence?
No, it's a sponsor. I'm usually a judge then with the whole event, and then Angels dresses like one scene. We usually do like the day wear or the cocktail scene, and then we leave the evening gowns for the awesome designers in Bloemfontein. So we sponsor or we dress a scene.
Okay, that's a nice opportunity. The student market obviously is also quite big in Bloemfontein. So I want to know about the business side. Obviously, there are always some parts of business that we shy away from, or we don't feel comfortable with, or we just hate it plainly. What are those for you in your business?
I'd say that the thing that I love the most, there's two things. The one is sourcing. I love sourcing. I love seeing that picture of how it's going to look on somebody. And I didn't realize that not everybody's got that.
Well, for sure. I didn't think someone is going to carry this bag or whatever. So that's quite visionary to have that.
Yeah. So that's the one thing. Sourcing I love. And then the other thing that really, really makes me tick is seeing that smile on a client's face when you give them something to try on that they usually wouldn't have tried on their own, and just to see their look on the face as they look at themselves in the mirror, that is the most rewarding feeling ever.
No, that's nice.
That's the two things that I really love.
Okay. And how good are you with administration and finances?
No. I'm a lazy person. I maak lazy. I've got a tick list. I've got an end of the month tick list for my bookkeeper. So I need to tick everything. I need to remember to send your sales. Remember to send your bank account details. Remember, it's like I'm useless. The only thing that I'm good in is Excel. I can do Excel. So everything is on Excel. Doesn't matter what the end of the story is or what it entails. Everything in my life is on Excel. That's one thing that I'm so grateful about my whole medical rep history. They taught me how to do Excel and do it.
True.
No, I'm not good in it. I'm getting there. And I'm I'm so relieved at the second of each month when everything is done. But it obviously needs to be done, and I don't have anybody else who can do it. I can't pay anybody else. It's tough times, so I need to do it.
Yeah, unfortunately, accountants also like or knows Excel from top to bottom, so that helps a lot if you can also put it together there. Okay, do you have future dreams for your business?
You know what, Johnny, it's going to sound funny, but I just want to keep on paddling at this stage. I just want to keep my head above the water. I just want to keep Angels open. I want to still be able to pay my salaries to the awesome girls that works for me. So I'm fine like it is now. The website is my new vision, and it's still baby steps. So that's the one thing that I'm going to focus on for now. I don't think I'd easily open up another store. They say with far from your stock, close to your damages. So at this stage, I'm super happy with One Angels, and the website is going to keep me busy. And your buying patterns is also changing a lot because of the website. So that's something that I still, I'm really in baby shoes with that. It's something that I still need to work on and learn how to do.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think it's so realistic to say, I need to survive. Let's just survive this whole spree. Just breathe. I mean, you've made it this far. How amazingly you survived and guided and kept the boat on the water. So be realistic. Growth isn't always good for a business. If you don't grow at the right pace and in the right time, you can really run into trouble. So well done on what you've accomplished this far, you and your team. And I'm also following you on social media, keeping track of your whereabouts and new fashion trends and all of that. Well done.
Oh, I'm so happy. Oh, that's the other thing. I forgot about this. I've started a few angel products.
Wow.
Yeah, but this is super new. This is like a week old. I've came across this awesome bag. You call it, it's a Mcqueen. It's made out of scuba material, like what you go scuba diving with.
Yes.
So I had these bags made and imported from overseas with a label that I've designed myself. So I'm so happy they landed in Bloemfontien, and they're super funky and new. It's really unique. So that's the one thing. And we've got like a lip balm that we also did, and we call it a wing balm.
Oh,
so yeah,
it's
funky things just to keep you excited. You always need to think a bit further, but there's nothing wrong with paddling, because it came with a lot of paddling that I came towards these ideas. So yeah.
I think we had time to think creative thoughts during COVID, during the lockdowns. And I've heard so many stories of people thinking, but why can't I do this? Or why don't I try that?
Yeah.
So for the bags, you will give me the links and I will post it below the video for people to go and follow. Obviously, your online shop and all of that, people will be able to click on that and immediately buy from you.
That would be great.
We will do that. So now I want to finish off, and I want to ask you a few personal questions. Which books are close to your heart, or even your favorite movie? Tell us a little bit about how you relax with that.
Books. I'm a sucker for crime. That's actually all I read. So any crime series, Lee Child, James Patterson. I've got all his books.
Okay.
In sequence. Dion Meyer.
Okay, I was thinking about Dion.
Yeah, Irma Venter, she's a newie, one of my newies, and Madeleine Rist, awesome, because she's from Bloemfontein and her stories happens in Bloem. The whole book happens in Bloem.
Goodness.
It's quite nice driving in West Dean and thinking, oh, but Madeleine ran down the street here chasing a bush.
Yeah, so relatable.
Yeah, so no, I'm a crime chick. I don't do love stories. I've done it when I was younger. I had the whole, what's her name? Daniel Steele. I had the whole range.
Yeah, that's the love story.
Yeah, but no, I'm crime. I'm crime. Unfortunately, yeah.
No, that's a good genre to follow. It keeps you. Well, I think a lot of creative thinking in crime novels. Do you imagine the process that writer must go through to put the plots together and all of that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and movies?
Movies, also just like my reading preferences, crime. But there's one movie that's totally not crime at all. That I just can't get out of my head. I actually went to go and buy it. It is absolutely beautiful. It's a love story. It's called Memoirs of a Geisha.
Yes.
You remember it?
And the book?
Played also in Japan. Oh,
beautiful.
It was absolutely amazing. Yeah, so I'd say that's definitely my favorite movie.
And I love to read the book and watch the movie. I normally do it book first and then movie second. Yeah, that's absolutely beautiful. Okay, who's your fashion icons?
Johnny, I don't actually have a few. There's one, oh shame, there's one that I absolutely love, and I would love to have a piece of his creations, and that's Alexander Mcqueen. I love the whole style, and I think it's amazing how even after his death, it evolves and it stays the same, and it's that quirky, punky, gothy, funky style. I love his stock or his stuff.
And in the modeling world, do you have icons there?
I'd say the oldies. I'd go back to Naomi Campbell and Elle McPherson. Go back to them. Maybe it's out of my era, but it's just so different. They're not underfed. They're not. They're just so stylish. Yeah, so I'd go back to the golden oldies for that.
They were the real supermodels, eh?
Exactly. Yeah. The beginning of it all.
Which are your favorite social media channels, like podcast or people you follow?
I'm sorry. I've never, ever, I'm sorry, never have listened to any podcast or really. I'm sorry. I'm guilty. I'll try. So on that part, I can't give you any clues, any tips. You can maybe give me some tips.
So this is groundbreaking. You're actually on a podcast, but you've never listened to it.
It's my first time on a Zoom meeting. What do you mean?
Well, there's always a first time. So next time we're going to set up a webinar for you, and you're going to start selling online with an auction or something like that. Let's discuss this afterwards. There's stuff coming your way. Okay, so we will obviously share with the people all your online presence and with links below the video. Now I'm going to close off, and I'm going to give you what I call the rapid answer segment. I'm going to give you one word and you can elaborate on it or give me one word back. Are you ready?
Okay. Cool.
Okay, so I've coined the word fempreneur, the female entrepreneur, a fempreneur. What does that make you think of?
Strong, clever, gutsy.
That's true. You need it all to be a fempreneur, hey? Okay, beauty.
How you make people feel.
I love that.
Beauty comes from inside. It's if you can bring a smile to somebody's face, I think you're beautiful.
I love that. Okay, and with that, aging.
Oh. It's challenging because your head still think you're 25, 30, but your body just doesn't want to work with. You struggle to get out of bed, and then it's challenging. It's challenging, but let's stick to challenging for me at this stage.
For me, it's growing. For me, it's obviously you grow into something you need to get to accept as well, because it's challenging. It's not.
Yes.
It's not always easy. Okay, the next one is self-love.
I've actually read a thing and posted it on Facebook a few days ago that actually made me think about it. It said, would you like you if you met you? And that actually made me think. And I'd say most of the times, yes. But there is this little devil inside of me every now and then that wants to creep out and that I need to push down again. So, yes, I think if you can say that you think that you would like yourself, if you meet yourself, you on the right path. But don't be too hard on yourself. Yeah. You are just human. And sometimes I don't like myself. I don't like how I react to things, or in a spur of the moment react or say something. But we're just human. I think you need to forgive yourself a lot. True. To make sure that you love yourself.
Yeah. Important. That's quite important. And the last one is South Africa.
Opportunity. Home. Makes me cross.
Yeah.
And loyal.
Yeah, flying the flag.
I'm loyal. I can't see, I don't think Barry and myself would ever leave South Africa. But I would love to see a lot of changes happening. And I'd like all of us to give each other a chance. It's what the Rainbow Nation is supposed to be about. The sun is big enough for us all to shine upon us. So, yes, forgive, forget, and love. Getting back to that. And then I think we can bring South Africa to a safe, happy environment.
Hermien, I want to say thank you. In my eyes, you are the true fempreneur. You know how to establish a business. You know how to grow a business. You know how to survive during hard times and look after your team. And I want to commend you for what you've set up and what you are busy doing and what you're creating in a community. A business is not all about, obviously, finances and making a lot of money. It's about your immediate society, the people you serve. Thank you for showing us what Angels is about.
Shame.
I want to bless your business and may the future be bright and beautiful. And we are checking you out online and following you and seeing what's happening. May the borders open up. May trade be restored fully, and let's all be profitable, not only financially, but also in our communities. Thank you for coming onto the Strategy Maker podcast.
From your lips to God's ears. Thank you so much. It was an amazing opportunity, and I really enjoyed myself. Sorry about the few tears and sorry about the dog and the noises. I had great fun.
No sorries, only real people. Good luck. Speak soon.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.